Goodness me, guys, I know you're going to be tired of all of this speculation and all these breakdown videos leading up to 1.0, but the hype is real, and we've just received another teaser over on the Coffee Stain Studios dev stream right at the end. So if you weren't in the stream, you probably won't have seen it unless you've seen it from another video. So we're going to be talking about that today. There's a few images or freeze frames that I've grabbed from that moment in stream and then I've put into Photoshop. You'll see them in a moment and we're going to talk about them. But before we do, I thought it would probably be good of me to let you know that on Friday, with the last teaser being released, we are going to be doing a live stream breakdown of everything, and then afterwards, after the stream, I'll do a video on it. But I thought it would be fun to break it down in a live format as well. But with that out of the way, let's watch the video. Wow, they are really spoiling us at the moment. And this really, once again, just gives me more questions than answers. It kind of looks like a portal, and then it doesn't look like a portal. And I don't know. Let's take a couple of the screenshots and see what we think. Now, the image that we see here, it looks like the character, the Pioneer, is reaching out. We saw this before from the back. And I stated that because it looked like the Pioneer was reaching out, I thought that the purple orb that we saw may have been a teleport. And this here is the second shot. And obviously in the video you see it come down towards the Pioneer, expand, and then shrink and rise again. And it could still be the portal, and as you get closer to this kind of teleport, that it comes to you and then you go through it. But it just, something doesn't sit right with me, and I can't put my finger as to what it is. One thing that I will mention though is, if we zoom in, you can kind of see these little shimmers. Does remind me of the Mercer spheres if you go close to them, and because of that I am tempted to still say that it's related to the teleportation technology, but at the same time it does feel like its own entity. And if it is an entity, perhaps it's based around the story in the game, and more so with its voice, if it's the thing that's saying those cryptic messages. I think the Mercer spheres could still be related to the story because of that. But honestly, we'll have to wait and see whether it is some kind of portal that I guess we go towards and it sucks us in, or if it's to do with the story. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, with the entity out of the way, we have probably the most interesting shot, which is this. This is the machine that we saw in the most recent teaser right at the end. Is this one with the summer sloop. We know this from the supports and also the beam of light with the summer sloop. So if we go back, you can see the supports are all the same, and then there's also the summer sloop in there along with the laser. Now, if we look at the rest of this shot, it's very clear where we are. We have the space elevator here, the particle accelerator, there's a quantum encoder behind here, We've got a building that's behind this, and then over here we have a blender, and there's a series of double barriers that I've been mentioning are new to the game. They coincide with this shot here. So Snut has obviously put the building around here, and we can tell that because here's the blender, there's the double walls, so they've removed this section. We've got the space elevator, the particle accelerator, the quantum encoder, and then over here we also have that building. So for the sake of this image, I think we can kind of discard anything that's going on in the background and really just focus on this machine. Now, at first glance in the other video, me and Bits speculated together what it could be, and our first of several thoughts was that maybe it's to do with the remote storage, that we could put items into it and then take them out of it from anywhere in the world in our inventory. But I'm not sure if that's the case anymore, because we can't see any kind of input or output here. That's not to say there isn't one, because we're only seeing half of the machine, but we can only base our assumption on what we can see at the moment. The other thing that we thought it could be, or I thought it could be, was a way of extracting the summer sloop, and we know that it's presumably it's putting energy into the summer sloop by the way that the energy beams are focusing in and going into the summer sloop. And so because of that, I still think it's extracting the energy from the summer sloop, but as to what it does, I'm not sure it's producing a shard to be used to overclock or duplicate items anymore. The reason being that I thought it was creating a power shard like item was that over here in this image we can see power joints that are purple, and despite this, in the next shot we can also see here more power joints are purple, and you can also see during the clip that there's the purple gas here. And so I assumed that perhaps they were related to the manufacturer that I'm about to show you, but because of the purple power joints, that they weren't necessarily under the same effect. And what I actually said in the video was that I believe this to be wireless power, and that the wires, the cables that have been placed down, are just a red herring from Snut. And I don't believe that's the case anymore. And what's changed my mind is that today in stream we were looking over this, and I believed that the manufacturer, if we look here, it has an overclock and it has the gas coming out, and we assumed it would be a duplication kind of item because we had two computers coming out of here instead of one, despite it using the base recipe for computers. Now, my reasoning for it not being the same effect as the constructors were these power points, the purple power points. I thought that this was the only clip, or only two clips that we saw that, and I was mistaken. If we look here, the manufacturer, when we're gliding past, does not have a purple point. And so I assumed they were two different things entirely. However, if you look here, once the gas goes, there is clearly a purple power joint, which means whatever's affecting the manufacturer here is also affecting the constructors. So this brings me to my next point. If we look on the video, these are coming out at a very fast rate. However, if we look at this video here, which is Snut breaking down the quantum technology, we can see over here is a constructor that is outputting what we believe to be the SAM fluctuators. And we can base a guess on the amount that we see coming out over a couple of seconds that it is taking in what looks to be about 6 SAM ore, what I presume to be SAM ore here, and 1 SAM fluctuator is going towards the converter per 6. Anyway, the point is that the SAM fluctuators are coming out rather slowly into the converter here. However, in this shot, you're seeing easily 5 immediately leaving. And this could be being very sneaky and filling up the constructors with the SAM fluctuators before taking this shot, but I don't think that's the case. Why put in the effort? I'm sure he didn't think we'd go this in detail over a constructor that we see for all of a few seconds. So at this point, what I'm thinking is that these are all powered the same with the manufacturer by this summer sloop item. It seems like a lot of effort to overclock all of these constructors though with the summer sloop item. So that leads me to think that this is emitting some kind of efficiency improvement to various buildables. Bits suggested that it could be a way of doing a Mark II variant of machines. You plonk this down a bit like the beacon in Factorio, which I've seen it, but I haven't used it myself, so I only know a little bit about what we're talking about here. However, the one caveat to this, if it is an area of effect item, and we can't really go off of this image here because we can't see anything, but what we can do is go by the machines that we see here. Obviously, at this point in the video, we cannot see that this here is purple, but we know it is. But there are various shots throughout the image where you'd expect, such as here, to be able to see any of the power points being purple if it was an area effect. Same with this shot here. Here we are quite close to the machine. It's just over in this section, just down the manifold there. None of these have the purple power being used. Same with these. And so if it's an area effect item, then there must be some way of us choosing which buildables have this duplication item. But let's say Bits is right with his assumption that it is providing this duplication upgrade to the various machines. It doesn't in that case look like it's just a base duplication improvement. And I say that because of the different speeds the constructor has for the items coming out, knowing that they aren't overclocked to the overclocked computer manufacturer. If we look at the older wiki, Bits mentions that he believes it could be a way of upgrading the buildables to the Mark II assembler, constructor, foundry manufacturer. And if so, then the manufacturer would be, providing these are correct, would be 25% faster, whereas the constructor would be 50% faster. And so we could make the assumption that different machines have a different strength effect on this area item. So if at 25% it's just duplicating an item, perhaps at 50% it's actually quadrupling the amount of items produced. And that seems to be more likely the case given the difference in speeds with the constructor. Again, I am just speculating here, but I found it quite interesting looking at that in stream today. So I would love to know your own thoughts. What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments, but we will leave it there and hopefully we will know by Friday. And remember, we've still got more stuff coming because there is the gas that's harvested here by the looks of it, and also the different canisters that are coming out of it. So I am excited to find out more about that too, and the new space elevator parts. But guys, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to all of our amazing supporters on Patreon who make making content like this possible. Most notably our Solarclipse Patreon Firefless, as well as our Lunas, the Calamity, Ben and Star, and our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Papa Snoozy. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.